Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast NFL Edition. Today, we are back with the bi-weekly NFL episodes with the head producer of the L7C, the NFL expert, Justin Ackendale. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Another crazy weekend in the NFL. It's almost too much to handle. It's almost like week to week trying to deal with this fucking league. It is almost too goddamn much. Between fucking the podcast, betting, fantasy, god damn it, Sunday's become the most stressful day of the fucking week.
And it's funny, too, because you were looking at this week 10, and some of these games, you didn't think they were going to go the way they were going to go. And there was just to be blunt, there was a lot of tomfuckery that happened this past Sunday.
Oh, just bullshit. Just bullshit literally all fucking day long. I ain't going to talk about my bad beats from Sunday because it'll get too depressing on here, but yeah, it was bullshit.
Man, Justin, take it. Where are we starting off with, man?
Man, we're going to talk about what the media, not us, but the wider NFL media is calling the game of the year. I mean,
I wouldn't say
that game was fucking crazy, but I ain't going to call it the game of the year. We're going to start off with Vikings at Bills Sunday in the early window.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings ended up winning that game 33-30 in OT. There was a lot of speculation going into the game about Josh Allen's status. He has a right elbow injury, and he was questionable all week. He ended up playing, and Josh Allen looked like Josh Allen. But
I don't think he should have played. That's me. I don't think he should have played.
You don't think he should have played?
No, because one, with that injury, it could have, obviously they talk about worst case, he would have been out for the year if it was like a baseball type injury, stuff like that. But why risk it on a regular season game? You know what you're trying to play for.
Yeah, I understand that, but
just one game, one game.
I hear you, but based off how he looked, he was fine. Into the recap, but yeah, you just said he probably shouldn't have played. On the first drive, he almost threw a pick, and that was just a theme throughout the game. Just Josh Allen, wasn't as sharp. It was like Jekyll and Hyde. Josh Allen basically gave you the full spectrum of the Josh Allen experience. He was either running the ball for 10 yards a clip and just gashing them in the run game, or getting balls to Stephon Diggs, or he was throwing interceptions. And the interceptions is what messed it up for him. We're gonna get into the fourth quarter of this game. The Vikings are up. The Bills are up. Bills are up 27 to. They're up 27-17 going in the fourth quarter, and then basically get down to the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter after a Josh Allen pick in the fourth quarter that leads to a Minnesota Viking. Oh fuck!
Good time. Was this the pick when they went for it on fourth down and Patrick Peterson picked it off when they were up 27-17 at the time?
Yes, and then Kirk Cousins is starting to heat up at this point. He's hitting Justin Jefferson. He throws Justin Jefferson that ball on fourth down. That was just probably the craziest damn catch I've ever seen. Craziest catch that I've seen. And then they get all the way down and get stalled out. They actually don't score on that drive. They get stalled out. Kirk Cousins doesn't convert on a fourth and goal. And then the very next play, Josh Allen fumbles the snap, and the Vikings recover it for a touchdown. Crazy stuff. It's about a minute left in the game, and Josh Allen gets it down, ties it up to get the 30-30. We go into overtime. Vikings get the ball first, get down there, kick a field goal, and then Josh Allen is working it down the field, and he throws a pick to end the game to Patrick Peterson once again. So Josh Allen ended up throwing. What was that?
No, I was just going to go back to Justin. Obviously, these NFL coaches know a lot more about football than you and I will ever know. But it doesn't mean they're voided of common sense. If you kick that field goal, you're up 30-17 with a couple minutes left. Instead, you threw I don't know why they went for it on that fourth down. Made no sense.
the fourth down in overtime.
Regulation, the one in regulation.
Oh, the Vikings.
No, when Josh Allen threw a pick because they went for it on fourth down at the
Oh
red
yeah,
zone.
he threw the pick on fourth down.
Yeah, I don't know why they just
Yeah,
didn't
he
kick
threw
the
that pick
field
on
goal.
fourth down. I mean, if they would have got the touchdown, it would have been over though.
If they would have got the field, I mean, 30 to 17 is it's kind of close to over because you still gotta you're not giving them extra possession. You know how the NFL is. You give a team like that extra possessions, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't know why they just didn't. They don't run the ball consistently enough, and we're going to talk about that in the next game that we talk about because that's how Green Bay beat Dallas. Honestly, like they just stuck with it and ended up coming out in that game. But yeah, I mean, the story of this Vikings Bill game is just Josh Allen. He just wasn't executing up to his usual standard. Throwing the football. I mean, the two picks. The pick in that last pick in those two picks in the red zone are like his fourth red zone pick in like the past like 3 games. So he's just turning the ball over. He's being sloppy with it, and that's what killed him. And now they're on what, a 2-game losing streak? Did they?
They haven't
lose?
scored a touchdown in the second half since Kansas City.
Right. So yeah, it's just Josh Allen trying to do too much. Honestly, I thought after that first pick that he was like actually hurt, but he was just like so frustrated after throwing the pick. It was so funny seeing that, how everyone just ran out there and was trying to make like, oh, is he okay? But nah, he was just on the field sulking. He played like shit.
So Justin, with this game, that's why I guess I said from a personal, even though they're not thinking about that, from just like the optics of him playing and him playing like that and them still losing just looks bad on him because right now, I mean, that MVP thing, that ain't coming his way right now. Like now it's wide open again.
Nah, not with the way he's been playing.
And then you went from clear cut Super Bowl, and we know the Bills are the Bills, and we talked about this during the Kansas City game, where that was the one game they've won in this Josh Allen era that was actually close. Because either they blow someone out or they lose the close game.
It's becoming a running theme throughout this whole season. I mean, the Miami game where they were up big.
Mm-hmm.
The Baltimore game, right? They ended up losing that game, and then and now this game, and then last week against the Jets. I don't think they were leading late, but they just laid an egg against the Jets on the road. So yeah, the Bills like I mean, they exercised the deep and beating Kansas City, but like they gotta like
but at
find
what
a way.
cost?
At what cost now? They have to find a way to start executing better in late game situations.
Like
Finishing games. Like they don't finish games. The Bills do not finish games. Like you would think having a what 13-point lead going into the fourth quarter that you would play better, right? Like
I think it's also crazy too because the Bills overwhelmingly Vegas, all that Super Bowl favorites, rightfully so. I mean, we even said it. If you're going to win a Super Bowl, you have to win it now before the money's too much and everyone's leaving and you're losing all your key pieces. Right now, they're the 6th seed if the playoffs started today. Obviously, that's
killer loss.
But the thing is, they're losing to people also like that Jets loss. That's against someone in your division who's also 6-3. So they have the tiebreaker. I don't know how long the Jets shit's going to last, but just saying right now, obviously, you've already lost to the Dolphins. You have to play them again. Like, these losses for the Bills are in. Because I think if they got home field, they're going to the Super Bowl because they know when they're going to come play in snow in Buffalo.
They're not going to get home field at this point.
Not anymore. No.
Miami's number 1 in the division. Miami literally beat the dog shit out of Cleveland. Like that was so impressive. Like Miami got their running game going too. Like Miami couldn't run the ball the first time they played the Bills.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like we said, man, 2 weeks ago, Miami is undefeated when Tua finishes games this year. Currently,
yes.
It's like, yeah, you don't want to panic, but we're gonna next time we come on, it's gonna be the end of November. Then there's only gonna be like 1 full month left to really get your shit in order. You're not gonna be in a good position in the playoffs, if not, dare I say, make it.
I mean, by all accounts, like Buffalo was outplaying the Vikings. Like
They
They
were.
should have won this game. They were up by 10 in the fourth quarter. Stephon Diggs had 12 catches, 128 yards. Shit, the Bills rushed for 175 yards. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
every time, like, beginning of the game, when Singletary was getting the ball, like, he was getting, like, good chunk yards. Like, he was like, they were doing good. They were getting, like, 5 yards a carry. I don't know why I don't get why the Bills can't consistently, like, keep running the ball
Mm-hmm.
when they have leads. Like, you have a lead. I mean, their only run game is when Josh Allen scrambles or if it's a design quarterback run. And I don't think, and Josh Allen is that man. Like, he really is. Like, he is
He
that nigga.
is.
But like, I that's not the way I want to like play my quarterback if I don't have to. And at this point, they got to it. At this point,
It's crazy how it's just this is the biggest win league in sports because you lose one game, the whole perception on your team has changed.
yeah.
We gone from overwhelming Super Bowl favorites to are they even going to win a divisional game?
I mean, let me talk about Kirk Cousins for a little bit.
Oh, yep,
His
8 and
QB,
1.
I mean, his QBR for the game was 34 and a half, which is terrible. But I'm telling you, from the 6 minute mark in the fourth quarter going to halftime, like Kirk Cousins was hitting every single throw. There was one throw in overtime where the rush was getting to him, and he basically like he chucked it and like it almost looked like a no look pass over the Jefferson on the sideline. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was throwing dimes. Justin Jefferson was destroying the Bills. Like they couldn't do anything with him. He had 10 receptions, 100 and 193 yards and one touchdown. And quite frankly, one of the craziest catches I've ever seen. Stephon Diggs earlier in the game had a crazy one-handed catch, but that catch that Jefferson had absolutely shit on.
So besides that fourth down throw that we've talked about, Justin, you played football. How many times do teams practice when you're at the goal line? Like because remember they tried to kneel and it messed up and they fumbled. Like how many times do team practice that like kneels and stuff like situations at the goal line like that?
You run red zone offense shit every practice probably.
Okay.
You talking about when the Bills got the ball after the Vikings turnover on downs and fumble it for a touchdown?
Yep.
Okay, now that specific situation isn't like the most like practice thing. It's
Okay.
at that point you're thinking just snap the ball and like sneak it up. Josh Allen like he either didn't get the snap or fumbled the snap. That's why that happened. Like they just didn't execute that play, but it's routine. Like you literally just snap it and then Josh Allen falls forward to like get out the end zone or you hand it off. But handing it off
To
can be
lose
risky
like
too.
that,
That's why they lost.
yeah, that
That
is
that
sad.
was the play that like ended it because the Vikings don't convert. They're still down by what? They're still down by 7. So like
Mm-hmm.
they needed that. No, they're down by 4, and then they went up by 3 after the touchdown. So
Crazy. All right, Justin, what's the I mean, again, Vikings 8 and 1, Bills 6 and 3. And I know we've talked about this AFC, like because the AFC, there's no room for error, man. There's some teams who are going to be getting healthier at the bottom who can make some noise and knock some of these teams currently out, like a Cincinnati, who is the playoff starter right now. They're not in, but they're playing better when they get Jamar Chase back in the stretch. Even though they've been another fake news-ish team, but they've been severely injured. The Chargers, when they're fully healthy, they can make a push for these last seeds. You don't want to be at the bottom of the AFC seeding. That's all I'm saying, because you could lose your spot to those two teams quick.
it's like they're going to get on a little run here. They got Cleveland next week, which they're
They'll
going
beat
to
them.
look the absolute dog shit out of Cleveland,
Yeah.
and then they turn around. Whoa, the Lions Thanksgiving game is against the Bills.
Yes, it is.
Whoa! So yeah, and then they're going to turn around and play the Lions off on Thanksgiving. That's going to be it.
Lions are not an easy out. They play hard.
No, they're not easy out. And then the Bills on that next Thursday, they play the Patriots at New England on Thursday night. Then
That's
Jets, Dolphins, Bears, Bengals, Patriots again.
that Patriots game's a must win. You're in your own division. Yeah, that's a must win.
Yeah, I mean the stretch that they need to sweep is Patriots, Jets, Miami,
Yeah,
all back to back to back.
yeah.
That's the stretch. That's the only thing that they need to keep winning games, obviously, but those specific games are the ones they need to worry about.
Yeah.
And it looks like Miami going to keep winning because that offense is something.
They they're hitting. They are hitting. Like it's a sight to behold. Justin, there was another crazy game that involved your team that didn't I didn't think would be a crazy game, but became a crazy game.
Oh my god. Yeah, it ended up becoming a crazy game. At Lambeau, Cowboys went to Lambeau. They lost 31-28 to the Green Bay Packers, who we all thought were dead.
I mean, I
I
still
mean,
think they suck.
they
That's
they
me.
do suck, but let me go through my thought process before watching this game. So I was getting my ass kicked there in the 1 o'clock window, and I knew like, all right, Cowboys off a bye. Green Bay literally has lost 5 straight games. They're at home. They really fucking need this game. Like
Mm-hmm.
they need it way more than the Cowboys do.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had it in my heart like I don't know if we're gonna win. So I didn't bet it, and I fucking should have. Oh my god. So the first drive of the game, Cowboys go 3-and-out, whatever, and then the Packers on their drive run the ball 7 straight times. They run the ball 7 straight times, and then they get down there. Christian Watson drops a couple passes, and they miss the field goal. And then after that, Cowboys go on a 17. Where's it at? Where that shit at? 17 play drive, beautiful drive. Throws the ball. CD Lamb gets a touchdown. All that goes. Enters halftime. 14-14. Then Dallas gets 2 scores in the third quarter, go up 28-14. Specifically about that third quarter, CD Lamb probably had his best game as a Cowboy. I mean, he was putting, especially in the third quarter, he was putting Jair Alexander in a goddamn blunder because he was going crazy. Dak also had 2 picks in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't necessarily his fault, but quarterback's fault. We throw picks. And then we get into the fourth quarter, and I mean, the Packers are down by 14, and they are still consistently pounding the rock. They are pounding the football. They're just running down our throat at this point. That whole fourth quarter, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are just gashing us for 7-8 yards every single pop. They score 2 touchdowns, and then they get the game tied. It's about 2 minutes left. Cowboys go 3-and-out, take the lead, and then the Packers get the ball back, and then they kind of no, they're still running the ball, and then it's a third and one to like keep the drive going and get in the field goal range. And instead of running the ball like they've been doing, just shitting on us that way, they throw the ball. And Aaron Rodgers like rolls out and he like looks around, doesn't see, and just throws it away and fucking lights up LaFleur on the sideline. I thought it was funny. The only great thing that's come from this Packers 5-game losing streak is just watching Aaron Rodgers every week just get pissed off. Like some of the looks, the way he be looking at his body, the way he be serving looks, everyone going off on everyone. Like it's a sight to behold. It really, really is. And then they kick it back to us. We don't do nothing with it. It goes into overtime. And then let me go to my fucking yellow notepad over here. Niggas ain't have time to type the notes. But the Cowboys get the ball in overtime. The Cowboys are driving. They get a offensive offsides, which is never called an offense that negates a first down. They get a holding penalty that negates a first down.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're in field goal range. Brett Maher, he has kicked 50-yard field goals before. And these clowns, one of the only times I would have said kick the ball. And these motherfuckers go for it. and they don't get it. And then Aaron Rodgers takes it down. Aaron Jones has a big ass run, and they're in field goal range, and they win the game. Sick. This is a sick way to go out.
Yeah, it was undisciplined football at the end. That was terrible because all those penalties and all of that. My other thing too is that you guys are also the coming out party game for Watson, who had 3 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, Kristen Watson had 4 catches, 107 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just went off, and like the thing was, like he was getting open because the Cowboys as a team, like we don't really play man too much. We get pressure with 4 or 5, and we send the zone. But the Packers were so stubborn running the damn ball that we had to start loading the box and playing man. And hey, Kristen Watson was winning.
Yeah, because
he was winning on those routes.
It's one of those games too. Like it was all the mistakes of Dallas, like the early turnovers by Dak, and all those penalties. Because if you just walk up to the street and tell a casual football fan who might not have seen this game, like, hey, if I told you Tony Pollard had 115 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown, CeeDee Lamb had 11 catches, 150, 2 touchdowns, you would think Dallas won that game.
All you got to say is Cowboys up 14 in the 4th quarter. Do they win or lose? It happened 195 times before fucking Sunday, and then now it's 195-1.
Why is it always Aaron Rodgers with the Cowboys?
Man, he just likes the big stage. He just likes the big stage. I think
every time I feel like it's always him with you guys.
God, we can't. We beat him a couple of times in the regular season, but never when it truly counts. And it's always in heartbreaking fashion. Why are you bringing up this shit? You about to make me have PTSD.
I'm just saying, man. I'm sitting there watching that game. I'm like, why is it always like anytime I'm watching a regular season game, which I wish I had the number for that game because I'm pretty sure I did a monster TV rating, but
you know it did.
But it's always Rodgers, and it's just like we were talking about the Bills being the 6th in the AFC. Now that puts you guys at the 6th in the NFC. It's just like
we only dropped 1 spot though. We were only the 5th seed before.
That's 5th is
before Sunday, so it's not as bad as the Bills have consistently done this. All season long, blowing double-digit 4th quarter leads.
Yeah, so
but this is what we do. We've been doing this shit since I've been watching the Cowboys, fucking up games we should have won. So Mike McCarthy, it was Mike McCarthy's homecoming. Like he was just a little too aggressive. Like I would have kicked that field goal. I mean, we weren't the counterpoint of that is we didn't stop him the whole 4th quarter. They're just gashing us. He misses, and if he misses the kick, then they're right there, and it would have been the same situation. But that's why I say kick it and just take that risk. I mean, Maher is a good kicker. It's not like he missed a kick that day, like Mason Crosby did for the Packers on the first drive of the game. So I didn't think kicking the ball was that bad of a call in that spot. And then you gotta understand, like Dak wasn't really like on point on like 3rd down passes or anything. Like if he wasn't throwing them like CeeDee Lamb, he wasn't very accurate that game.
It's crazy because you guys in the AFC East and the NFC East are mimicking each other. All the teams in both things have winning records.
Oh yeah. It's there's no margin for error. There's just no margin for error. That's one that we should have had. We were up 14 in the 4th quarter and just couldn't finish, didn't execute at the end of the game.
What were they doing against Micah? I felt like he was quiet this game.
They were running directly at him. When you run the like a lot of those runs, they were like going literally directly at him, and he couldn't keep contained, and that's how you stop a dominant player like that, especially on the edge. You just run directly at him. He's not a very good run defender. He also wasn't getting very much pressure in the passing game. I know Aaron Rodgers got sacked. I know we got to him twice, but it wasn't a typical. Our defense didn't play as well as they have been, just getting gashed on the run and then giving up those plays.
Right.
Packers just had a great game plan and executed it to perfection.
Like you said, their best offensive players are the running backs, besides Aaron. So you use your best players, and then you
Yeah,
catch the people slipping, and then boom, over the top.
yeah. Executed that game plan to a T.
All right, man. Justin, where are we going to next? What are we off to next?
Um,
We
well,
preview
shit. I kind of want to talk about this Washington Philly game that happened last night a little bit.
Philly's first loss of the year.
First of all, about goddamn time. At this point, like
I mean,
about goddamn time. I knew they were going to get got at this point. They were just so good in the first half of games, and they had multiple games that they did not score in the second half. So I knew it was going to catch up to them, but the Commanders got up on them. Well, it started out 14-7 Eagles, and then the Eagles did not score in the second or the third quarter. And that game, that game at a point was 23-14. And shit, the story of that game is the Eagles had 3 turnovers, and the Commanders held the ball for 40 minutes, and the Eagles had it for less than 20 minutes.
I also saw, because the Eagles, the first 8 games only had like 3 turnovers, and then they had 3 turnovers. So it was the first game they lost the turnover battle, and then they end up losing.
But, yeah, which you can't do. Consistently, you're going to win most of your games when you're winning the turnover battle, and you're going to lose most of your games when you don't win that battle. So that was pretty much the story of that.
What'd you think of the Heineke slide, then hit? Then that was the play that ended the game.
It was bullshit, but I agree with the call. He gave himself up. He was on the ground. He was on the ground. He gave himself up. Don't fucking hit him. You gotta be disciplined there.
Washington's interesting, man. They're interesting. They're 3-1 with Taylor. With all the shit that they have going around their organization every 2 seconds, they're 5-5.
Yeah, it's a real
and they get Chase Young back this week.
Yes, they do. That's big for them. On defensive line that was already playing great too. That's just another mutant for them. But yeah, the Commanders are coached well. Ron Rivera, he's been doing it for a while. I'm just not sure. And then with that defensive line, they absolutely can make shit hard for everyone else. I just don't think at quarterback they're good enough. Taylor Heineke didn't really have his best game. He threw it up. He threw a pick late in the fourth quarter that could have fucked it up. But he's a lot better than Carson Wentz. I'll say that.
I was going to say, well, the controversy that's going to happen when Carson's healthy. Who starts?
I don't think there is a controversy at this point. Okay. What's the controversy? You weren't winning when Carson Wentz was the starting quarterback, and you're winning now with Taylor Heineke.
Some people we brought him over. We're doing this. He was hurt. Let's put him back in. See what he.
And they probably should have beat the Vikings last week, so they should be 6-5. Yeah, nah. And they don't. They probably should have beat the Vikings last week, so he'll be undefeated as a starter if they would have won that game. So no, Taylor Heineke's your starter, and you just roll with. Wow, Kentucky, Michigan State in double overtime. Wild.
Yeah, but, I've been watching the game on the side because at 9:00 it was going to be a first for the NFL one. We were going to break the news of the new college football playoff rankings, but looking like that's not going to happen because they were announcing it at 9:00 today.
Bullshitting, damn.
but
yeah,
So what do they do? Because if Carson Wentz doesn't come back and start, then it's over for him. It's you lost out to Taylor Heineke. You'll still have a good NFL career as a backup, but that starting shit, that's done.
I think Carson Wentz has proved he's not a starter at this point.
They tried it at Indianapolis when they had Frank Reich, got rid of him after 1 year.
I will say, hindsight 2020, but I think the Colts probably should have kept Carson Wentz. They're literally a game away from the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with this group of guys in Washington, they're responding better than Heineke.
Mm-hmm.
And this gives me, last year's Raiders vibes, all the shit that was going on with them. And, like Washington is firmly in the mix. So,
Oh yeah,
anything can happen in this damn league. So I'm not going right off Washington.
they're currently one spot back. Even though I think the seventh seed, once they're fully healthy, I think they're actually the best team in the NFL.
49ers are poised for a run. I don't
Again,
know. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I bet they ended up winning their division. I'll probably bet on that.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They're too good, and then when they're fully healthy, it's ridiculous. But
Yeah.
Justin, where are we off to now?
Let's preview this next week. We got the Vikings playing the Cowboys. Dallas is going up to Minnesota. The Cowboys just lost at Lambeau, and the Vikings just won at Buffalo. DVOA. Cowboys are fourth in total DVOA. Vikings are 17th in DVOA. Let's see. The Dallas has the second rated defense on DVOA. The Vikings are 19th defensive DVOA. Dallas is 12th on offensive DVOA. And the Vikings are 17th. The Vikings have been one of the luckiest teams in the NFL. Like they've gone undefeated in one score games this year.
Complete opposite of last year.
Yeah, the complete opposite of last year. So, and they have won what? How long is their winning streak?
7 straight. They haven't lost since they got their ass spanked by Philly.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the Cowboys respond after losing to Green Bay. If they respond how most good teams respond after a humiliating loss like that, they should whoop up on the Vikings. If we can get pressure on Kirk Cousins, he's gonna fold because that's the book on Kirk Cousins. If we can get pressure on him, we can sit back in the zone. We can have eyes, all those defensive players looking at him and just go off and pick him off. But what gives me cause for pause is Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook had an 80-yard touchdown against Buffalo, and Green Bay kind of exposed our defense against the run a little bit. So that will be my main concern with this game. But if the Cowboys can get back to the defensive standard that they've been playing with for most of the year, then I think that it's going to be a pretty easy win for the Cowboys. And the Vikings, looking at some of these DVO stats, they have the worst red zone defense in the league. Like their DVOA for red zone defense is awful, and the Cowboys are ranked third in red zone defense, red zone offense DVOA. So yeah, the Cowboys can get back to playing defense the way that they have before the Packers game and the Bears game for that matter. They weren't that good in that Bears game either. Shit, the Bears and the Packers, they shown that shit, you can run on the Cowboys. So if we can keep that in check, if we can be a little better against the run, it should be a win against the Vikings, but we'll see.
But don't you feel like the Cowboys are not even it's gonna be easier to run because obviously we know the weapons Minnesota has with Jefferson, Thielen, Hodgins. Like, what are you gonna do with all them boys? Because Jefferson, I mean, is Diggs gonna be able to contain him for a little?
Man, oh no, but we typically in those passing downs, it's zone, so you're not like straight up man up, and you hope the rush gets to him. And we have one of the best pass rushes in the league, so I'm hoping like that script the games. But shit, if they steal the Packers game plan and just turn it around and give it to Dalvin Cook and Madison the whole damn game, it's going to force us in the it's going to force us to lower the box. And if we have to play man and passing downs against Jefferson, I'm scared. Because they're in a corner on that team that could stop him.
Yeah.
Even Trayvon Diggs, like they can't stop him. Like he's unguardable. But there have been stretches throughout the season where Jefferson's been a little quiet. He wasn't quiet in the Green Bay game the first of the year. And he wasn't quiet last week against the Bills. But there's a path to making sure that Justin Jefferson doesn't absolutely destroy you.
True. Yeah, I think Dallas needs this win more because you don't want to go two straight losses then going into a big matchup on Thanksgiving. Because that could be turning point of the whole season if you guys are by Thanksgiving if you're on a 2-game losing streak.
I agree. Yeah.
So
Don't
needs
want
more.
that. Don't want that. This game's a lot more important for the Cowboys, but like the doors also with that Philly loss has also opened up the door for Minnesota to get
Number one seed.
yeah, they get the number 1 seed.
Yeah. So, and I think there'll be other opportunities because Philly, well, Washington showed you can get Philly, and there'll be other teams. Obviously, you guys play them later on in the year, but nah, Dallas needs to win this just because they go into that Thanksgiving matchup against an NFC East rival who's also a winning record. Nah, they got to win. They got to.
Yeah, like that game against no looking ahead, but that game against the Giants is going to be huge on Thanksgiving Day too.
We talk about Chiefs Chargers.
Yeah, we can talk about Chiefs Chargers for a little bit.
They got flexed into that Sunday night game.
They did, so we get to see the Chargers again on Sunday Night Football. This
is it for them too.
It's definitely it for them. The AFC is just too stacked right now. All right, Chiefs Chargers. Chiefs total DVOA is 5th. The Chargers DVOA is 24th in the league. Chiefs, as we know, have the best offense in the league and DVOA wise. The Chargers defense is ranked 20th, and their offense is ranked 24th, and Kansas City's defense is ranked 22nd. Chargers are dealing with a ton of fucking injuries.
Yep.
They're the walking wounded. I know they had 2 tackles out, no wide receivers, both starting wide receivers out. They were down to like 3 defensive interior defensive linemen after that 49ers game on Sunday. So they're just a walking wounded right now. It's really hard to not think that the Chiefs are just going to fucking dust them, but these divisional games are always tough. They know exactly who they're dealing with. But these injuries, and then Kansas City has just been on an absolute tear. Patrick Mahomes is still killing everybody. Travis Kelce, no Juju Smith-Schuster, but shit, like with Patrick Mahomes back there, I swear to God, it does not matter who's out there catching the balls.
I feel like Kansas City is the quietest 7-2 team in the league.
I don't know. I mean, it's just boring at this point. They just win. They just win saying, and score a bunch of points.
After they lost to the Bills, people were just like, because Patrick Mahomes threw that interception that ended the game. They're like, now we've seen the Bills beat them, yada yada, whatever. And then Kansas City's just like, we're just going to continue our business, and here we are, 7-2, currently atop of the AFC.
Yeah, I just don't know how the Chargers are going to stop them. I mean, Khalil Mack did start showing out a little bit in that game against the 49ers. They actually did relatively well in the beginning of the game, stopping the Chargers running. I mean, not the 49ers rushing attack, but then towards the end of the game, like they started gashing them. Mm-hmm. But that's still a problem for the Chargers. I expect where's the game at?
It's at Los Angeles, because remember they played in week 2, where the Chargers should have beat the Chiefs in week 2 if it wasn't for that 99-yard interception return.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to go in there and get the dub. Let's wait and see if the Chargers get any like offensive talent back. I don't know what's the deal with Joey Bosa, but if they can get him and Khalil Mack on the same defensive line, I like their chances a lot more if both of those bookends are playing and the receivers are playing.
Like, yeah, because I feel like Keenan Allen hasn't played in a long time.
Keenan Allen got hurt like you said. I think he got hurt in that game. Honestly,
in the week 2 game.
Yeah, he got hurt early.
Yeah, because it's been a while. Like But yeah, they got to get this win. Well, I mean, like you said, they're already wounded. If they want any shot of making a wild card, they got to start now because you don't want to be 5-5 in the AFC.
No, but let me pull up these standings. Actually, let me see.
Oh, I have them right up here. AFC, Kansas is number one, Miami's two, Tennessee three, Baltimore four, the Jets five, Bills six. Those last seed would be the New England Patriots. Chargers are right behind them, and the Chargers and Bengals are right behind them at 5-4.
Okay, yeah, I got pulled up right now. Yeah, the Chargers need to win this game bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Cincinnati's poised for a run
Yep.
soon. They got the Steelers. Actually, Bengals got tough.
Well, they got to beat the Steelers. They got.
Yeah, they got to do this one game at a time because they got to go to Pittsburgh this weekend and then to Tennessee the next weekend. So yeah, those are two hard. Those are two hard ass games. Those are two tough teams. Like just tough. Like
to Tennessee. I say this almost every year at this point in time. Mike Vrabel again might be coach of the year because I don't know how the hell they are 6-3. I really don't.
Oh,
but they took Kansas City to the limit with the backup quarterback.
It's just a tough ass football team. The Steelers too. Another one of my bad beats. I thought, Saints maybe. Saints might be able to go up to Pittsburgh after another terrible loss and right the ship. Nope.
And people do remember that the Steelers were destroying the Bengals in week one. Obviously, Bengals came and then the missed field goals back and forth. But TJ Watt's back. So
TJ Watt just makes such a difference for them. Mm-hmm. It's insane.
They're going to get to Burrow. They're going to get to him.
Yeah, that game is in the 425 spot opposite the Cowboys Vikings game this week. So yeah, we're going to have both TVs on checking in on the Bengals too because if that's an eliminator game for them. If the Bengals lose that game, they're done. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, 5-5 at the end of basically the end of November with only one full month to go. Yeah, that's.
And the schedule is hard. Like they got, we already said Pittsburgh and Tennessee, and then after the Tennessee game, they got Kansas City at home, the Browns at home, Deshaun Watson Browns at home.
Watson will be back.
Gotta go to Tampa. Tampa's starting to turn around a little bit, and then they gotta go to New England. Bills at home late in that season, and that spoiler alert, I got tickets to that game, so I'm going to be at that Monday night game.
Bengals Bills.
Yeah, it's a day after New Year's.
Oh,
January 2nd.
Okay,
so that's probably going to be a eliminating game too. The Bengals aren't already out of it, and then they end the season with on Baltimore.
They're going to be playing. It's going to be crazy because all those teams you mentioned are all teams who are also fighting for playoff spots.
It's no easy. Like the only teams that won't be in playoff contention that they have left is this week against the Steelers and the Browns game.
Yeah, the Browns are currently 3-6. The Browns pissed away their opportunity. There's a lot of close games they could have won, and if they would have won those, they would have been poised for a run with Deshaun.
That's just typical Browns, man.
Typical, but Michigan State, basketball-wise, pulled it out 86-77 in double OT against number 4 Kentucky, who has the player of the year from last year. But that's the AFC, Justin. You look at the NFC, Eagles are currently still number 1, 8-1. Vikings 8-1. Seattle's 3. Tampa 4 right now because of that win against Seattle. Giants 5, Cowboys 6, San Francisco 7. Then you got 8, Washington 5-5, Green Bay 4-6, Atlanta 4-6, Arizona 4-6.
The Cardinals are done. I don't care. They suck. The
Cardinals.
I hate that team. Great win this week, but I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch a fucking second of it. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
Rams are officially done.
Yeah, they're done. Saints are too, and we had them in the playoffs this year.
I did. You didn't, but I did. It's
You know,
fine.
I know because I had the Bucks, but I believed in the Saints. I didn't think 3-7.
Yeah, they fell off a fucking cliff, man. They need a quarterback.
Those are very hard to come by.
Yeah.
Very hard. But Justin, man, it's yeah, because Thanksgiving is usually that football point in college and NFL where you're getting close to the end, like to the home stretch. And Thanksgiving at this time of recording is next Thursday.
It is next Thursday. Like teams are we're starting to know who's really what in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to figure these teams out more. Like the closer you get to Thanksgiving in December, like the more you know about these teams. And looking at these these not the AFC but the NFC standings, I think Seattle might be in trouble. The 49ers are on their heels.
They're coming.
It looks like Tampa is getting their shit together. Atlanta's kind of falling off a little bit. I don't believe the Panthers are going to be able to do anything. And yeah, the Eagles just have opened the door up for the Vikings. Like that is huge for them. Like really big.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Tressel, Ohio State coach, used to always say in football, October is pretenders, November is for contenders. November two are the teams that separate.
That's true. And then shit with the NFL, you got a whole nother goddamn month to figure shit out too.
That's last chance month. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's the last chance you of the NFL, December.
Yeah. Because by December, those last 4 weeks, you're basically fighting for seeding.
I mean, you just need to make sure by November you're in the mix, and that's typically most of the NFL. And then you need to get hot in December.
Oh yeah, if you go into December with like 10 wins, like a 10-3, like something like that crazy, you should be fine.
Yeah, but sometimes you want like the Packers might be poised to get in. There's no way they're going to catch the Vikings, but shit, if Washington slips up, if the Cowboys slip up, if the Giants slip up, it's not entirely over for the Packers.
If Seattle, in theory, slips up, because we know the 49ers, they're too good.
Yeah, the Packers are only 2 games back of Seattle record-wise, so that could happen. Let me see what Seattle's schedule looking like, because that's a team that I can see falling, but shit, they've been making me look stupid for a while, and
I don't know, man. Like, we'll see about the Green Bay thing, because this Thursday they got Tennessee. If they beat Tennessee, then I could start leaning that way. But
you're right. We definitely have to see. We definitely have to see what Tennessee does, how they play against Tennessee, because they only snapped a 5-game losing streak. Like we can't forget that these niggas have lost 5 straight games before that Cowboys game.
You have Tennessee and then Philadelphia back to back.
Yeah. So yeah, we gotta see how those games go out, and then the Seahawks are on bye this week, but
yeah, they needed that bye.
And then the weekend, and then Thanksgiving weekend, that Sunday they play the fucking Oakland, as you would say, the Oakland Raiders, fucking Rams after that, Carolina, and then they got a little hard stretch with San Francisco and Kansas City back to back, and then the Jets.
They should beat the Raiders. The Raiders are terrible.
The Raiders might finally be due, man. I don't know.
Maybe they're 2-7. They're awful. There's a. I can't always pick them for like biggest loser of the week, but God, it's just too easy to pick them because they are terrible.
If you won't pick them, then I will. Because how in the fuck do you let Jeff Saturday come in?
You shouldn't have that job. I'm gonna say it, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's fine. Come literally off the couch. That nigga was literally tweeting about the Colts from his fucking couch. Tweeting from his fucking couch about what he will be doing about the team, and then he gets the job last Tuesday. Yeah, that shit happened on Tuesday, right? Yeah. Gets the job last Tuesday. I mean, you got Rex Ryan on TV saying this is a travesty. Bill Cowher on TV.
It is.
It's a travesty. Like, just fucking ridiculous. Like, this man had a losing record as a high school fucking coach. and hasn't coached in the NFL or college football, and the Raiders lose to him at home.
Yeah. So to address the Saturday thing, which I agree with all his coaches, but then when you look at it, you calm down and look at it through an adult's eyes, it's the stuff we already know. Connections matter. Plain simple. Jim Irsay literally said that's his boy. That's why he gave him the job. That is why connections matter in life. Period. That's it. Once you realize that, you're just like, okay. Yeah, the only reason he got the job, I mean,
yeah, like that man was not even fucking working towards that shit. Like nope. he was
on ESPN talking shit about them on First Take on Tuesday through Thursday.
Literally on ESPN running his goddamn mouth, was a consultant in fucking training camp, and literally on Twitter the week before saying, God, I'll run the ball more, and has a job next week and gets a win. Like
and he benches Ellinger, puts Matt Ryan in. Randomly, Jonathan Taylor becomes Jonathan Taylor of last year and is just booming down the Raiders' throat. And I mean, it is crazy because I sat there and I'm like, bro, there's people like Eric the Enemy who still doesn't have a head coaching job. There's a whole bunch of, I was just like, okay, whatever. And then you lose. And then the Raiders lose.
You see he's trying to win because if he would have, I bet on the Raiders like an idiot, but if Ellinger would have played, I would have won. I would have won that fucking bet, and the Raiders probably would have won that game. And at least Jeff Saturday had the fucking wherewithal to know that, like, because the offensive coordinator was like a first time like play caller too, so there was no way that he was going to be able to like make shit happen without a veteran quarterback, which is why Matt Ryan played in the first place. So,
if you're Irsay, are you even an idiot for hiring Saturday because not the fact that no coaching experience, that's yes, but the fact Irsay is that Saturday is competitive and he wants to win because you would be better off losing and you get it when you get one of these quarterbacks in the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I low key think conspiracy, like that's what that's why Irsay made him the interim coach, because they're going to need to. They need to do something at quarterback that's not fucking Matt Ryan or any.
Well, it's Irsay's fault. All that's Irsay's fault. He never got luck offensive line. If he would have got luck offensive line, he'd probably have a Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, and shit, we weren't on last week, but I thought firing Frank White was complete bullshit.
It was.
Like,
they gave up on him.
Complete horse shit. Like, the man went to 2 playoff series. One was with luck and one was with fucking
news. Cincinnati has entered the top 25 since you're an alum.
Oh, good shit. But yeah, bro, like, I already lost my train of thought.
You were talking about Frank Reich getting fired.
Yeah, he made the playoffs with Andrew Luck the first year, and then Phillip Rivers, and then he hasn't had a quarterback. He hasn't had a quarterback since. Like, the man hasn't had a quarterback. Like, I don't understand that. He had a winning record coaching the Colts, and he fixed Carson Wentz. Like, that man had a winning record with Carson Wentz as his quarterback. Whoever hires Frank Wright has a good coach. His next stop, because he's going to get another job.
Agreed. I agree. It's crazy too that they're playing for him, and we'll see. But the Raiders, I've been on them all year because I've been on them just like I've been on the college football podcast. If you guys listen to those ones, how I've been on Jimbo Fisher. McDaniels can't not coach. He's not a head coach. He's a coordinator. He's not a head coach. You can't have this much talent and be 2-7. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, there's not many excuses I can make for McDaniels. I'm just saying, I think I would rather be the Raiders. Like, if both teams like end up firing their coaches, I think I would rather have the Raiders job as opposed to Denver. Because fucking Russell Wilson looks fucking he looks done.
Oregon dropped to 12. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that too. It's just I don't understand how a Raiders team literally gets better by addition and you get worse. I don't even think they should have fired the coach who took them to the fucking playoffs last year, but they wanted to get Josh McDaniels. Okay. But How do you get better with players and you get worse?
I think. Well, their defense has no fucking body. Like
That is true.
their
Zero.
defense has no body. I was listening to Cowher this morning. He was saying like a bunch of like all their talent is pretty much on the offensive end of the ball, and they have like no talent defensively because some of the defensive picks have just not been haven't panned out when Mike Mayock and Gruden were running the team, and then Henry Ruggs, one of their top picks, is in prison, and
After killing
Arnett,
someone.
yeah, Arnett, one of their draft picks, the corner, got kicked off the team because he was threatening people on Twitter, and then the offense was hella injured without Waller and now Hunter Renfrow, even though he wasn't doing good before that anyway. But yeah, the Raiders just have a lot of shit going on, which makes it harder. But Josh McDaniels should be better. I agree with that.
All right. Justin, currently right now, going to college, they are in the top tens of the playoff rankings right now.
Who is?
Currently, Utah is 10.
Utah! I fuck with Utah. Kyle Whittingham, Utah. Fucking Oregon lost. I got a bet for Utah win the Pac-12. It's still in play. Let's go, baby. Let's go USC. Is that UCLA game this week?
It is this week. We actually previewed that on the pod when you edit that. Yes, we did. It's the biggest ranked game of the week because the rest of the week slate is trash.
Go Trojans, boy! I need that game bad. I need the Trojans to win bad, man.
Number 8 is Alabama, 8-2. I hate how they make this so fucking slow,
bro. Because it's made for fucking TV. Like
I know, but this is where it starts getting like serious. Because we're only from, I mean, next week.
There's only 2 weeks left in the season.
College football. I mean, shoot, Justin, we're inviting you to come to Michigan Week pod next week.
Oh, it's next week?
Next week is Michigan. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be around.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's going to be 2. Well, if they say course, it's going to be 2 versus 3. Loser season's really over.
Yeah. Loser season really over. I wish I wasn't running around all day on Saturday. I fucking barely watched anything, so I can't really. I don't really know what happened other than Oregon losing. Yeah, Oregon lost.
UCLA lost too.
Yes, UCLA. Who beat them? Who beat UCLA?
Unranked Arizona.
Oh my god, that's a fucking terrible.
Yeah, they both their chances. The Pac-12's only chance now is USC to even have a shot to get in the playoffs.
Woo, go USC! And then I know TCU ended up fucking beating Texas at a fucking snoozer of a game. You would have thought that they would have scored way more. TCU's defense like literally was not good until that Texas game, which is complete bullshit. But
well, they were offended that they were a 7-point underdog as the number 4 team in the country at Texas.
Yeah, they had reason to be offended at that point. But and then went down there and fucking handled the business.
Georgia, number 1.
Of course.
10-0. That team is the best team in college football. I actually do not want to play them, but this is Ohio State's best chance to win the title since 2019. Ohio State, number 2.
Michigan, 3.
Yep, that's what should be.
TCU, 4.
Yeah. This is, I mean, next Saturday, man. At OSU, it is.
Where was LSU?
They're still yapping it. Oh. LSU, I think, is going to be. They might be 6 at the max. If I would,
they got the 2 losses. USC's only has 1 loss, even though they haven't fucking played nobody.
Yeah, but they have LSU has the bigger win against Alabama, and LSU's already clinched the SEC title spot. Like that SEC title game's already set, which is wild. That it's LSU and Georgia. So TCU 4. Yeah, I'm. This is pretty elementary right now. It's looking the exact same. Yep, Tennessee 5. Justin, who do you want? We haven't had to ask you because you haven't been on call. Who do you want in the 4?
Who do I want to be in the 4?
As we're ending the pod on some college football.
Let's see. I obviously want whoever wins the SEC to be in. So,
Okay.
right. Who I personally want in, or just
Yeah,
who
who
I
you
think?
personally want in?
God, I want Tennessee to get in there fucking somehow, some way. Ideally, I'm just going to give you the matchup that I hope happens.
Mm-hmm.
So Georgia needs to lose at some point. I want to see Tennessee sneak up in there and play Ohio State. I need to see those two offenses go at it. That's what I need to see. Now that I know that the Alabama Tennessee rematch will not happen, I need OSU and Tennessee to both find their ways in there, and for
Ooh,
OSU to play
LSU went
Tennessee.
up. They went up to
Whoa,
6.
6?
Yeah, they're over USC.
Oh,
Oh,
it's a big
whoa.
deal. But yeah,
Oh,
I want LSU to win the SEC championship game, Tennessee to handle business, and Tennessee to handle business and not lose again. So LSU, OSU, Tennessee, TCU. That's my personal four. That's who I want in. That's who
I
Justin
got you.
Ackendale wants in.
I asked Cedric and Byron at the end of the thing, and you'll hear it when you're doing it. What I think realistically is gonna, I think Georgia's gonna beat the dog shit out of LSU in the title game. I really do. They're really good, and I hate Georgia. They're
LSU has
that
a,
defense is wild.
I know, and Jay McDaniels is a running quarterback, so that might give Georgia some trouble. And I know LSU has a defense, like a freshman defensive player,
Mm-hmm.
who they are hyping up like he's like the second coming of Michael Parsons. So for that podcast next week, I'm gonna have to research him a little bit so I can come correctly. But you never know.
That's true.
You
You never know, but
you
just
never
right
know.
now.
Not with this season. You
So
never know. But the only thing is that game's played in Atlanta. I don't know how Georgia heavy that crowd's gonna be.
right,
But
and
it's technically a neutral site. It's always played in
so I'll
Atlanta.
throw this out to you before we end. So I was going to say Georgia's going to be in. The winner of Ohio State and Michigan is going to be in. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to say Ohio State because I'm an Ohio State fan. So that Michigan's basically that. So if TCU loses those 3 and 4 spots, you could potentially have a 1-loss TCU, 1-loss Michigan, 1-loss USC, 1-loss Tennessee. Out of those 4, who would you take in the 3 and 4 spot?
Tennessee, no doubt.
Okay.
Tennessee's no doubt. Like they have one of the best strength schedules in the country. They have a win against Alabama.
They've beaten every ranked team they've played except
Yeah,
Georgia this
yeah,
year.
beat every ranked team they played. Top 10 offense in the country. Like
Mm-hmm.
Hendon Hooker was in the Heisman conversation. He's probably gonna be a finalist. Like, yeah, Tennessee is in, and then we have TCU. You said
USC,
USC
Michigan.
and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how close the OSU Michigan game is,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll put Michigan in there. Why is the SEC the only conference that gets to have rematches in the playoff?
That's a good question.
Why is the SEC like that? I know you're going. I know everyone's going to say, well, no one plays each other in the Big Ten and all that shit. Bullshit. You can only play teams who are in front of you. And if that OSU Michigan game is close, and the loser of that game, and you think that a bounce could have went the other team's way, how about you just running back in the playoffs? Fuck it. Why not?
I agree.
I mean, TCU, all their big wins have been against backup quarterbacks. So I can stick a hole in that. Fucking USC don't play no defense, and Utah beat them, so they might not even win their damn conference. Who was the other one?
It would have been between Tennessee, USC, TCU, and Michigan. Those would have been the only 1 loss.
Okay, so yeah, I already went through everyone.
Yeah,
so I'll put Michigan back in there.
Because I see that's a situation I think that could realistically happen.
I want to see that happen. Yeah, but yeah, Georgia would have to win and win the SEC, and TCU would have to lose in the Big Ten championship.
Big 12.
Yeah, Big 12.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you're going to be talking college football with us next Tuesday, so just wanted to give y'all a little preview of that because Justin got to break it because they pushed back the rankings. And just one more thing again, I talk about coaches, and Yeah, if I had 85 million, Jimbo wouldn't have a job, but that's a whole other podcast.
God, he's fucking horrible.
And thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe. We'll be back to say happy Thanksgiving next Tuesday because we're gonna have all football people on the Buckeye one in here. That being said, L7C podcast, take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.